Hello friends, welcome to video lecture on kinematics of machinery. In the today's session, we'll learn about the instantaneous center method for velocity analysis in mechanisms. So first of all, we'll say what's about the instantaneous center of rotation. For that, consider the link AB, which moves from initial position AB to A1, B1. Now, if you just see here, this motion is not a fully translation motion or rotational motion. It is the combination of translation motion from this shifting a point from A to A1 and from B to B dash. And after that, the A1 point, here the A point will remain constant or at the fixed position, and the rotational motion occurs for this B point. Okay, B will start its motion from this B dash up to B1. So this motion is nothing but the rotational motion. Now, if you just say here this motion is nothing but here combination of translation motion as well as rotational motion. Now, if you take the another actually a journey of the same link, if I consider initially AB is here, and here by considering the A point of fix, here the B will start moves to a next position, that is at B1 dash. Means here we can get the rotational motion, and after that the A point will shifted towards a final position, that is A1, and the B will be shifted towards a final position, that is B1. Now, if you just see the path followed by this one, initially for rotational motion and then translation motion. If you just see in the previous case, translation motion first and after that rotational motion first. Now, it is not important that whether the rotational motion first or translation motion first. Okay, so in this case, the motion of the link AB is so gradual that it is difficult to see the two separate motions, but we see the two separate motions. Though the point B moves faster than the point A, thus combined motion of rotation and translation of the link AB may be assumed to be a motion of pure rotation about some center. Okay, this center is known as instantaneous center of rotation. The instantaneous center of rotation may be located in this way. Here in this case, since A and B of the link, here is the A and B points on that link, has moved from this A to A1 and B from this B to B1 respectively under the motion of rotation. Therefore, the position of the center of rotation must be lie on the intersection of right bisectors of the chords A1 and this one A1 and B1. Let these bisectors intersect at point at point I, which is the instantaneous center of rotation or virtual center of the link AB. So this is the information regarding the instantaneous center of rotation. Now say what are the different methods for determining the velocity of a point on a link. Though there are many methods for determining the velocity of any point on a link in the mechanism whose direction of motion and velocity of some other point on the same link is known in magnitude and direction, the two important methods as far as concerned with the subject point of view. First one, instantaneous center method, and second one, relative velocity method. The instantaneous center method is convenient and easy to apply in the simple mechanisms, whereas the relative velocity method may be used to any configuration diagram. So first of all, we will just see here the instantaneous center method, the velocity of a point on a link by instantaneous center method. For that, let us consider this is nothing but the rigid body. The instantaneous center method of analyzing the motion in the mechanism is based upon the concept that any displacement of a body having motion in one plane can be considered as pure rotational motion of a rigid link as a whole about some center known as instantaneous center or virtual center of rotation. So here in this case, let us assume that this is nothing but the rigid body on which the 2 points are lies A and B. Now, if you just consider, because of the motion of this rigid body, let us consider this is nothing but the velocity at point A. At the same time, if you consider the velocity at point A at the another instant here, you can just say that is nothing but the VB. Now, how can you get the instant center I? For that, just draw the perpendicular line to this component. So this line is extended at the back side in this way. At the same time, extend the perpendicular component or perpendicular line to this velocity component. Okay, so the intersection of both this line will occur at this spot. This is known as the instantaneous center of rotation. So what's about the component of this velocity in the direction of this? You can get the, if you just see this angle made by VA with this line joining the points A and B is nothing but the alpha. At the same time, here you can get the angle made by this component with this one. The line passing from this AB point is nothing but the beta. So the component in the direction of this one is nothing but the VA cos of alpha. Similarly, the component in the direction of this AB is nothing but the VB cos of beta. Now from the geometry you can just say what's about this angle 90 minus alpha. If you just say here is the perpendicular, here is the 90-degree angle, and then we can get this one as 90 minus alpha. Similar case is here, we can get the 90 minus beta in this way. Now for the further analysis, you just see now resolving the velocities along A and B. So here is the resolution. Already has seen that VA cos of alpha and VB cos of beta as the same direction with us, and both the components moving along the same direction. We can just say VA cos of alpha equals to VB cos of beta. Now just simplify this one. VA divided by VB equals to cos of beta divided by cos of alpha. From geometry we can just say that cos of beta is nothing but the 90 minus beta. Here the cos of beta means here sine of 90 minus beta. Similar case with this one, cos of alpha is nothing but here sine of 90 minus alpha. Now apply the Lami's theorem to triangle ABI. So triangle is here ABI. So we know the Lami's theorem. So according to that theorem, whatever the length available with us, AI divided by, this is the angle, sine of the angle between this one, angle between the remaining two sides. So what's about this one, sine of 90 minus beta. Similar case with the next one, BI. For that BI you can write BI is here the angle between this one, this line and this one is nothing but here 90 minus alpha. So BI divided by 90 minus alpha will come here. So in the next step we can write here in this way, AI divided by BI equals to sine of 90 minus beta. So this term goes towards the right side. So sine of 90 minus beta divided by sine of 90 minus alpha will come here. So equate equation number 1 and equation number 2. As the right side is same, we can just equate with this one left side. So VA divided by VB is nothing but AI divided by BI, or we can just write this in this way, VA divided by AI equals to VB divided by BI is nothing but the omega. So what's about the omega? Omega is nothing but the angular velocity. So we know the relation between the linear velocity and angular velocity. Simple relation between the linear and angular velocity, V equals to R omega. So R is nothing but here radius of rotation. So if you just see here, these are nothing but available with us in terms of the distances. So radius of rotation, here the instantaneous center with us. From that, this point, the distance between this point and this one is nothing but here the radius of rotation or location of that instantaneous center. Okay, so here we can get that AI and BI. Okay, so in this way we can get the relation. So as this one AB and this one A and B points are lies on the same link, so angular velocity of that link will remains this one constant. Okay, so here If I consider the another point, if C is any point, other point on that link, then we can just write or extend this relation in this way. VA divided by AI equals to VB divided by BI equals to VC divided by CI. Okay, so any point we have considered lies on that link, then you need to consider this distance. Okay, in the previous case we have considered this distance AI, then BI in this way. So we can just continue this one for the C point also, and at last we can get this relation VA divided by AI equals to VB divided by BI equals to VC divided by CI. If the VA is known in magnitude and direction, VB in only direction, then the velocity of the point B or any other point C lying on the same link may be determined in magnitude and the direction. The magnitude of the velocities of the points on the link is inversely proportional to the distance from the point to the instantaneous center and the perpendicular to the line joining the point to the instantaneous center. So in this way, whatever the velocity component with us and this one, these are nothing but the inversely proportional with each other. If any one is unknown from this one, you can easily get the value for the same. Now what are the properties of the instantaneous center? The first one is nothing but a rigid link or rotates instantaneously relative to another link at the instantaneous center for the configuration of the mechanism considered. The two links have no linear velocity relative to each other at the instantaneous center. At this point, the two rigid links have the same linear velocity relative to third rigid link. In other words, the velocity of the instantaneous center relative to any third rigid link will be same whether the instantaneous center is regarded as a point on the first rigid link or on the second rigid link. This will more clear to you with the help of next actually part. Now see how we can get the information regarding this one, number of instantaneous center in the mechanism. For that this is the formula with us. The number of instantaneous centers in the constrained kinematic chain is equal to the number of possible combinations of two links. The number of pairs of the links or the number of instantaneous centers is the number of combination of n links taken to two at a time. Mathematically, the number of instantaneous center can be calculated in this way: n equals to small n into n minus 1 divided by 2, where this n is nothing but the number of links. So what are the different types of instantaneous center? Okay, this will clear to you here. So instantaneous center of the mechanisms are of the following three types. First one is nothing but the fixed instantaneous center. Next one, permanent instantaneous center. Next one, neither fixed or nor permanent instantaneous centers. The first two types, that is fixed and permanent instantaneous center, are together known as primary instantaneous centers, and the third type is known as secondary instantaneous centers. Consider a 4-bar mechanism A, B, C, D. The number of instantaneous centers n in the 4-bar mechanism is given by this relation. So n equals to n into n minus 1 divided by 2. So what's about the number of links with us? Just count the number of links: 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here if I substitute the value of small n equals to 4, we can get the number of instantaneous center equals to 6. The instantaneous center, now just say how can get that instantaneous center. So first one is here, next one is here, next one is here, next one is here, next one is here, and next one is here. So how these instantaneous centers are written here, this will clear to you in the coming steps. The instantaneous center I12, this one I12 and I14 are called the fixed instantaneous centers, as they remain in the same place for all configurations of mechanism. The instantaneous center 2, 3 and 3, 4 are the permanent instantaneous centers, as they move when the mechanism moves, but the joints are of permanent nature. The instantaneous centers I13 and 24 are neither fixed or nor permanent instantaneous centers, as they vary with the configuration of mechanism. Okay, so the instance center of the two links, such as link number 1 and link number 2, usually denoted by I12 and so on. It is read as I12, not I12. Okay, so once again just say the instance center directly lies on the fixed link. Okay, that is known as fixed instance center. The instance center apart from the fixed link, okay, available with us, that are known as permanent instance center, that will move when the mechanism start move. Okay, then the instance center not lies on this any part of the mechanism or links available. Okay, that will lies outside of this one, outside of that links. Okay, that are known as neither fixed or nor permanent instance centers, as they actually varies with the configuration of mechanism. So let us discuss about the location of instantaneous centers. So the following rules may be used in the locating the instantaneous centers in the mechanism. When the two links are connected by a pin joint, the instantaneous center lie on the center of the pin. So this will more clear to you with the help of this diagram. When the two links are connected with each other, the instantaneous center will lie at the point, or the here the point joining the two links. Okay, this is the instantaneous center for such case. Now when the two links have a pure rolling contact, here link number 2 rolls without slipping upon the fixed link 1, which may be straight or curved, the instantaneous center lies on their point of contact. If you just hear the velocity of any point A on the link 2 relative to the fixed link 1 will be the perpendicular to I12A and the proportional to I12A. In other words, we can just write in this way. Okay, now just see this one with the help of a diagram. So here in this case, when any circular actually a part rolls on the flat surface, then the instantaneous center is lies where that particular circular portion comes in contact with that flat surface. So here is the instantaneous center. The link number 1 is here, link number 2 is here. The link number 1 is we are considered as fixed link, and link number 2 is nothing but here disk. When that disk comes in contact with that particular point, so we can get the location for the instantaneous center here. In the previous case, whenever we found the intersection of both the link, okay, that is the point for the location of instantaneous center. Now I can get that relation. So here the I12 point with us. Okay, so here is the point A, here is the point B we are considered on that disk. If I join this one, if I join this point with the, if I join this A point with this one, where the contact of this disk takes place with this flat surface. A similar case with this one. If I join this B point with this one, and if you draw the perpendicular line to this one, we can get the velocity component of the same. So we can write that relation in this way: VA divided by VB equals to I12A divided by I12B. So what's about this I12A and I12B? So I12A is here, I12A. This is nothing but the distance. So what's about this indicate? This is nothing but also a distance. So as per our previous discussion, here we have discussed that case. Here, with the help of this formula, VA divided by AI equals to VB divided by BI equals to omega. Okay, means we can get this relation in the same way. VA by VB equals to I12A divided by I12B. The next case here, let us consider a slider. That slider will slide on this one fixed surface or flat surface. Let us consider these 2 points A and B. Then the instantaneous center of the this link number 1 and link number 2 is lies at infinity. Okay, so for that you just see the velocity component of this one and velocity component of this one. If I draw the perpendicular line from this one and perpendicular line from this one, both the lines never meet with each other. Okay, that will meet at infinity. Okay, next case is nothing but here when we consider the link number 2 is here again, that is the slider, and link number 1 is here. Link number 1 having the curved surface. Okay, in this way the instantaneous center lie on the center of curvature of the curvilinear path. So here we can get first point, here we can get the second point. If I draw the line from this one, both the lines meet at this spot. Okay, this is known as instantaneous center. Okay, so in the next case, if you just see here concave shape and convex shape. Okay, according to that here if you just see the slider will slide on the external surface of this circular or fixed link. And then if I just draw the line from that particular point up to this one, if I extend at the back side, okay, here is the velocity components with us. Then both the lines meet at the center of that circular portion. Okay, then if you just see here, means in short we can get the instantaneous center at the center of that circle. Now let us discuss about the Kennedy's theorem. Okay, so what's about that Kennedy's theorem? Kennedy's theorem states that if the three bodies move relatively to each other, they have three instantaneous centers and lie on a straight line. So three bodies, let us consider the link number 1, link number first one, A is here, B is here, C is here. Let us consider this one is the first body, second one, third one. Okay, let us consider the three kinematic links A, B, C having the relative plane motion. The number of instantaneous center n can be given with the help of this relation. N equals to n into n minus 1 divided by 2. As the number of links with us 3, just substitute here and get the number of instantaneous center. Here we get the information regarding the number of instantaneous center in the given mechanism equals to 3, where this one, the two instantaneous center at pin joint, here two instantaneous center at the pin joint B with the A, and here C with the A are nothing but here IAB and IAC, and the permanent instantaneous centers, okay, these are nothing but the IAB and IAC. These are nothing but the permanent instantaneous centers. Okay, so according to Kennedy's theorem, the third instantaneous center IBC must be lie on the line joining AB and this one IBC. So in other words, to prove this, let us consider that the instantaneous center IBC lies outside of the line joining AB and AC. Already that actually drawn in this diagram. Okay, so the point IBC belongs to both links BC, B and C. Let us consider the point IBC on link B. Its velocity BBC must be perpendicular to the line joining joining to this one AB and BC. Now consider the point, this one IBC on the link C. Its velocity component BC, BBC must be perpendicular to the line joining IAC, IAC and IBC. Okay, so already I discussed in the previous article that the velocity of the instantaneous center is same whether it is regarded as the point on the first link or as a point on the second link. Therefore, the velocity of the point IBC cannot be perpendicular to both the lines. So IBC cannot be perpendicular to both the lines. That is IAB, IBC and IAC and IBC, unless the point IBC lie on a line joining the points IAB and IAC. Thus the three instantaneous centers IAB, IBC and IAC must lie on the same straight line. The exact location of IBC on line IAB and IAC depends upon the direction and magnitude of the angular velocities of the B and C relative to A. So in short, whenever this one IBC lies on this one on this link, then and then only this is possible. If the three bodies move relative to each other, they have three instantaneous centers and lie on a straight line. Thank you. I hope that whatever the points discussed in the today's lecture clear to you.